Hey guys, Donald from St. Paul's Kids here. Now the story I've got for you this week is a bit different. You see, in a story we have a shepherd boy, young kid, having to tend his flock. And eventually he meets and has to face a giant. You think, I know this one. This is David and Goliath. Well, yes, but no! Because you see, this is David and Goliath if it happened in space. What happened is, David was a young boy who's lived on the back of a large meteorite. His family would herd water. Now you think, how on earth do you herd water? Well, it's space, because in space you need water. There's not just the taps. You can't go, oh, just get a glass of water. You have to harvest it. And it's a very, very important job. So David would gather and have little drones that would go out, bring bits, chunks of ice and space together so that on their asteroid of Bethlehem 65, they could then look after their flock of asteroids. Asteroid herder talk, shepherd stuff. Now, they were in part of a small community, a special people, and they had a king, a very tall king, but there were some evil space bandits who wanted to take over all of the asteroids in the area, right from Jerusalem to Bethlehem 65, even the Jericho Straits, where they have to follow this particular hauling area. But it was an easy access to this whole area of space known as the Israel Circle. And these space bandits went by the group name of the Philistines. They had heavy duty technology that everyone knew was dangerous. So everyone would try and keep away from them. But the area, the constellation of Israel got together and they got as many troops as they could, and they actually worked out they had more numbers than this gang. There's no way the bandits could ever fight them. And they would line up on the battlefield on one asteroid and a small plane across the other, with a few bits of rocks in the middle. An occasional comet shooting past. And then the bandits would come up on the other side on the other asteroid. And they'll jeer and chant, and all the people, the space followers, the soldiers from Israel would stand up and go, we're going to take you. But then you can't hear it. They couldn't feel it. But something like a shade from the sun, this big statue, this big person, almost like a robot, standing double the height of some of the others, stand there and go, have a loud speaker, because he had a big space helmet, because you can't breathe in space. And he would stand there and taunt them and say, show me who's stronger. Is your God bigger than ours? We can take you all. But who's brave enough to come and stand and fight me? Well, on the other side of this asteroid, on the other asteroid, this area in between, not a sound. Silence filled the whole area. They looked, some of them loaded up weapons. No, I don't want to, And this happened for days. Every time the people in Israel would get, all right, let's go, come on, we're bouncing. They got ready. Okay, yep, ready to go. And then up would come the giant Goliath, standing on the asteroid, laughing at them, taunting their God. One day, the shepherd herder was asked by his dad to float over and check out how his brothers were going, just to make sure they're okay. He had quite a few of them. So he hopped on his space scooter, even bought them some lunch, which is pretty hard to eat through a space helmet, just ask Hank. Landed on the asteroid, on the bottom side of it, parked his asteroid, plugged it in so it made sure it couldn't go anywhere, and walked up carrying lunch for his brothers. He got there, and as he came over the horizon of this asteroid, and again at the same time, he heard the giant Goliath, taunting them, saying, "Ah! None of you guys are strong enough to take me, your God, as a whoop. He's a wuss. He is nothing. Our God is bigger, better, and he's got bigger lasers." Yeah. Well, David just said, "Who does this dude think he is?" Well, everyone was quiet when Goliath was speaking. All of a sudden, thousands of heads turned and looked at this little kid, no older than 12. "You think you could do it?" He said, "Anyone who follows our God, anyone who follows and loves our God knows we ain't going to stand for that. No way, he's bigger than him. Come on." Because the thing about this small shepherd boy, David, is he loved God. He knew that God was in his heart, and he knew that God had a plan for him. But he also knew what was right, and he stood up for it. Whether it was herding his asteroids, his space ice around the area, keeping them in this little area, the flock, little field that he'd set up, if you will, a magnetic field, or keeping back the space slugs that would try and eat them with. He'd use a special thing called a laser sling. Get a little bit of asteroid in it, get it round, and accelerate it. The slugs would go. He was a dead-eye shot. But David loved God, and he was not going to stand for that. So he did something that was very difficult for an adult to do, even though he was like 12. And he said, "This guy is nothing. Why? I'll fight him if you guys are too scared." Everyone was like, "Huh?" And his brothers heard, and they came running. "What are you doing, David?" Well, by running, it's in space, so it's like, "David, what are you doing? Get out of here. You just want to see a fight. Go on." He's like, "No, Dad told me to come and give you guys lunch. But, yes, peanut butter and jam. But I had this muppet speak. I mean, come on." Well, all of a sudden, whoosh, they were all quiet. The king of all the people in Israel, in the constellation of Israel, heard that one person said they'd fight. And David bounced over to him. "Oh, hey, king, and he's like, "Are you prepared to fight him, son?" He's like, "Yeah, look at him. He's no bigger than our God. God didn't take him." "Ah, yes, but how do you know?" "Because he's God. He said he'll always look after us. And he's been blessed. He's been saying that our God is nothing. I can't believe you guys haven't fought him already." "Well, you can't say that, man. You're not supposed to say that." And Saul, being pretty big himself, he was like 7 foot. They had to give him an extra large spacesuit to fit him. He offered to give him his armor, which was a special titanium base plate. He's like, "No, I don't need it. I can't wear this. Look at it. Barely do anything." So David bounced over to the asteroid, and they let out a cheer. "We've got our champion!" And the space giant Goliath stood there looking bewildered, like, hang on, we tapped a screen to visualize it there, bouncing over the rubble in between the two asteroids. Was a kid. He laughed. He said, "What is this? A kid? You guys are seriously though sending a child? We've got this one. They're going to be our slaves. I'm going to crush him like a grape." And he laughed. "You are beauty. I am. I bench press. Even in space, I can do like 700 kgs more. Look, one arm. And there's you. You're tiny." "Oh yeah, this is going to be a quick fight, guys. Don't worry, I'll be back." So he bounced. Boom. And landed on one and has disappeared because he's so heavy, he bounced down. And then he came back. There's little boosters and air thing. He landed in a rock, not 20, 30 feet away from David. David looked and he picked up a little bit of ice. He's got 6 bits of stone that were floating past him. And again, Goliath, I am gonna crush you. And he lit his laser sword. And his laser spear. And he was trying to decide, which one should I shish kebab him with, the sword or the spear? I don't know. And he was about to ask the rest of his Philistine gang, guys, what should we do? Well, which one do you reckon? And David got in and he thought a little prayer and he said, God, make this go straight and true. Took out one of his stones, put in his laser sling. And then it's Goliath turned around to see a pebble flying towards him and straight through his space helmet. Floating away like anchored in because his boots were magnetic. David bounced over. Silence filled the Philistine gang. What's Goliath doing? Why did that fall down? Look, that's floating. David picked up his sword, finished off Goliath, turned to his Israelite soldiers. God is with us. No one's against us. These guys are toast. Go! Wow, the whole army of Israel cheered. And they bounced off the asteroid, flying towards the Philistines. And by this stage, Philistines were like, kill it, boy, Goliath, boy, run! And that day, because of one boy's courage of standing up for what was right, the Israelites won a mighty army. And David became a legend amongst the people, and he himself would later become king. Now, one of the things I love about this story, the story of David and Goliath, it's about the fact that a small kid stood up for what he knew was right, went against other people, his own brothers, said, get out of here, you're embarrassing us. But David said, if my God is for me, who can be against me? And that's our story this week. I'll see you guys later. Stay safe and have a great holiday. See you later.